Hi, I'm going to talk about how much can orthoptists do, and on a particular case here on esotropia on alternate day. We are talking about cyclic esotropia, and we will just go through the occurrence. And going through the literature, it's found that in approximately 3,500 screen cases reviewed, there are 3 that exhibit a unique quality of cyclic reoccurrence. These children are all presented with esotropia in regular cycles, and the esotropia was not paralytic in nature during these times, and the squint was the only variable feature of the eye findings. And the literature is being filled with discussion of natural cyclic occurrences on the biological clock, as well as the descriptions of many diseases with rhythmic reoccurrence. In particular, we can talk about many cases of problems with attention, emotional, mental kind of illnesses that will have rhythmic reoccurrence. And that's very interesting, particularly in case here that I'm going to present, because we can see the problem with focusing as well. And I mean, it's something that we should take in consideration. Scientific standpoint, cyclic oculomotor paralysis is characterized by the involuntary contraction of the extraocular muscles, meiosis and contraction of the ciliary body. That's by Walsh-Burian, and we have 2 phases, relaxation and spastic period, and the entire cycle lasts from several seconds to several minutes or hours, and most commonly it's 24 hours cycle. And the case I'm going to talk about today is 7.5 years old Chinese boy. He was avid reader, but not too excessive. Computer was used mainly on weekends, and he was really exhibiting poor balance, eye-hand coordination, and he was getting car sick easily. Parents were saying that, for example, for him it was very difficult to get in a taxi. He would quite often throw up. And he was referred to us by an ophthalmologist, as parents did not accept surgical correction as a treatment modality. They wanted to exhaust other modes before they go on with the surgery. And glasses for the correction of hypermetropia and esotropia, the boy was using since the age of 5. Left esotropia was not well controlled when he came for the first visit, and it was present 30 to 90% of the time. He was prescribed patching of the right eye 3 hours a day. Cyclical ET esotropia occurred 6 months later, and he started with bifocals. Good and bad days, and were in a ratio 50-50 on 24 hours cycle. We can see here his glasses in use. He had hypermetropia with some mild astigmatism, and he has addition of +300 on each eye to control his esotropia. And interestingly, his fixation was central in each eye. And now this is his assessment on bad day. The depth perception was 140 seconds of arc on lower segment, and we can see cover test near. He was lower segment, left alternating esotropia of 20, and upper segment, left alternating esotropia of 35. Without the glasses, the esotropia was going to 45 prism diopters. And distance, left alternating esotropia was 30, and without the glasses was left alternating esotropia of 40. His ocular motility was full. Visual acuity, you can see with the glasses, it was perfect, 20/15 on each eye and 5 at near. But without glasses, it was 20/20 with the right eye and 20/25 with the left, with near vision and 8 by both eyes. Convergence was all the way to the nose, but it was not binocular. Maybe it's somewhere from 10-12 centimeters, his binocular. His convergence started breaking down. It was very easy to see that it was not binocular in nature. The eyes were not moving towards the nose in the same way. It was very interesting to look at his accommodation, because in right eye he was able to accommodate 16 cycles a minute, but with left only 8. And with binocular accommodation, he was unable to test because he would break down to double vision. That means that was the main problem with his, he was not able to accommodate with both eyes. And he was either suppressing the left eye or going into double vision. And we have here assessment on good day. Depth perception was 50%, 50 seconds of arc. And color test was on lower segment 14 from 20 with on bad day, and upper segment was 35. Without the glasses, 45 remains the same as on bad day. And then the distance, the isotropia was 30 prism diopters with and 40 without the glasses. Ocular motility was full. It was on his bad day. But we can see here reduction in the visual acuity. His visual acuity, if we look at the bad day, was 2015 on each eye. Now it's 2020 and 2025. While his visual acuity without the glasses was, it's now 2030 and 2040 on the left eye. That's his good day. And on bad day was 20 and 25. That means we can see here reduction in the visual acuity at distance, but not at near. That was very interesting. The findings are really, really interesting if you look at the good and bad day. But accommodation facility, he was able to accommodate, again, about 16 cycles a minute with right, but 12 with left, in comparison with 8 the last time, in comparison to 8, which was the last time. Still, he was not able to test accommodation in both eyes due to double vision. Okay, when the eyes, and then the boy's feedback was very interesting. He said, when the eyes are straight, my vision is blurred. When I focus to make the image sharper, I see one real and one ghost image. At that point, it clicked to me. I said, wow, that means the boy explained beautifully. He said, when the eyes are straight, my vision is blurred. That means at that point, he's not able to clear his fixation. He's not able to see clearly. And that's why the eyes are straight. But when he tries to make his vision sharper, then he was going into double vision. Parental main concern was that the boy was looking over the glasses. He didn't want to use them at all. And we tried the adaptation to the glasses without bifocals in the office, and he was much happier. He was agreeable to use them. And we continued the patching of the right eye 2 hours a day, orthoptic treatment on a daily basis. And the treatment consisted of the accommodation exercise, binocular stimulation, and sensory integration. We really needed to work on his sensory integration because he really needed to integrate his vestibular and visual system because they were completely off sync, and that was one of the reasons he was getting car sick before we started working on it. Follow-ups 2 months after the initial visit. Double vision and the convergence squint present only after the eye exercises the entire afternoon. The following day, the boy woke up in straight eyes. That means now he's already out of that 24-hour cycle. It means he had the squint only the afternoon. That means those few hours before he will go to bed after the exercise at home. His depth perception was 80 seconds of arc, and cover test near, he was straight to left alternating ET of 35, as well as the distance. And we can see his visual acuity was 20/20 and 5 each eye. And here, what's very important, his accommodation facility was 18 cycles a minute each eye, as well as the both eyes solid. At this point, he could use his both eyes and he could accommodate with both eyes at the same time. He asked me if I could cover his eye with tissue. And I said, why would you like that? He said, it's much easier to see when the eye is fully closed. He said, I have that noise like watching old television screen where like things are moving on it. And it's like, it's due to the dichoptic suppression because of visual masking. And it was very interesting that those kids, that's why we test them with the translucent occluder, with opaque occluder, with the tissue. And it was very interesting that they prefer the tissue completely to blank out, to try to blank out interocular transfer, which was very disturbing for patients like this one. And follow up 3 months after the initial visit, double vision and the convergent screen present only about 30 minutes after the therapy in rare bad days. The following day, the boy woke up with straight eyes. Depth perception, 80 seconds of arc. Again, you can see the cover test, straight to left alternating ET, 25 at near and 12 at distance. That means now the angle is going down significantly. And we can see here in his glasses are going to 20/25 without, his vision is going to 20/25 and distance without the glasses. Accommodation facility is still as good. No double vision and no squint for an entire month. That was about 12 months after the initial visit. His eyes are straight all the time and no double vision. Parents noted that even if the boy takes the glasses off while the eyes will not turn in. Depth perception is still good. You can see the angle further going down to 12 prism diopters at this time. And the vision, it's now still 20/20 and 20/25 without the glasses. PVA, visual acuity with both eyes open, was 20/20 and with glasses and 20/30 without the glasses. Accommodation facility was 80 cycles a minute there. This was his prescription at that time, plus 175 on each eye and astigmatic correction as well. And 24 months later, when he came for the follow-up, parents noted that even when he takes the glasses off for a while, the eyes do not turn in. Here was going to ET isotropia of 25 at near and 20 at distance. The visual acuity was still 20/25 on the left eye without the glasses, as well as with both eyes open. And then accommodation facility, each eye and both eyes open, still 18 cycles a minute. And he does not use glasses anymore because the parents then noticed that he was not squinting and they stopped the glasses. We didn't manifest refraction, and these were the findings, but as his vision was still all right, the parents were not keen to put the glasses on. And you can see the visible change. This was him, like when we just took off the bifocals, you can see the left eye still drifting in. And this is him at the last visit. You can see clearly his over here, you have the overview of the angle of the deviation, and you can see that it started at 45 prism diopters at near and 40 at distance without the glasses, and straight to left over here we can see ET was 10 and 16. That was without the glasses at the end. That was very interesting to see how this boy was presented, like with this cyclic esotropia at the beginning, how well he responded to the therapy, that well that even when we called them for the follow-up after the last follow-up, which was 24 months after the initial visit, parents were not keen to come back because they said he's okay, there is no need, we don't want to come back because he's perfectly all right. But interestingly, the story continues here because his younger brother came in during the patient's last visit to us. He was 8.5 years old. And parents were worried because the boy could not see well distance. Not much screen time, not much of outdoor activities either. And we can see the depth perception was a bit reduced. He was orthophoric though, but visual acuity and distance was 20/80 by the right eye. Left was perfect. And then we can see accommodation facility was reduced, but not too bad. And what we could see here, he had alternating dynamic suppression. He was suppressing the right eye distance, but left at near. We put him on the vision therapy, on eye core therapy for 3 weeks, which consisted again on accommodation, binocular stimulation, exercise, and sensory integration. And we can see that depth perception went to 80 seconds of arc. He was orthophoric. And look at here, like after 3 weeks of therapy, his right visual acuity already came to 20/30 from 20/80. And then he was only suppressing his left eye at near. And we can see here at the end of the day, at the end of the therapy, after the 8th month, he was negative with suppression. There was no suppression at all. His vision was 20/20 in each eye. I mean, the boy responded really well. And 8 months later, as you could see here, that's what it is. But we can see here, orthophoria to right alternating esotropia. That means there is a tendency even in his case to drift a bit. But again, he was fusing well. He was perfectly okay. His vision was good, and the parents were not, again, even with him, they were not keen to continue with anything because they said he's doing well, there is no need to come back. That would be my humble presentation, and I apologize if this was just kind of a rush to it because it was very difficult. This is my first time I'm doing the presentation this way, but I would be more than happy to answer your questions during our Q&A session. Thank you so much.